Let me tell you one thing. The Canadian government needs to stay out of picking winners in businesses. Oh, look at the best. Best, fancy, right? Best is good. Or not. So the government is the government picking business winners and feeding money to those companies to develop their business, particularly if they're not Canadian companies, is just batshit crazy. We can't even think about the crazy EV plant catastrophe, billions of dollars lit on fire, but it just keeps going. You know, the best thing that government can do for business, get out of the way, approve stuff like the pipelines, approve stuff like the mines, and get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Don't try to pick winners because you're shit at it, okay? You're terrible. You proved that over and over and over. So latest government madness. Melanie Joly announces, hopefully she's going to be gone soon, but Melanie Joly announces, we've got this deal with Nokia. Now, Nokia is a company from Finland that used to be the biggest cell phone company in the world. I know everybody's shaking their heads. What's he saying? What's this old fuck saying? Like the biggest cell phone company? Yeah, when I was younger, like 20 years ago, it was the biggest. So if you know the cell phone history, it's like at one time Motorola was the biggest and Nokia was the biggest. Every young person's saying, this old guy is so stupid. But anyhow, yes, so they're a Finnish technology company, okay? Because their cell phones are dead as a doorknob, okay? Then that cell phone thing went dead. So what we've done is we've given them $70 million to develop a research campus in Canada, like a research building, and $70 million towards it, and bring your, hire Canadian researchers. And there's going to be some people from other countries, and we're going to do research like AI, like some communications. Who the hell knows? So they're spending about $70 million, about 300 employees, maybe. I'm wondering if that's true. So we're paying about $200,000 per employee. Okay, and in theory, is it a good idea? It's a good idea to try to improve technological development in Canada. Of course it is. But here's the stupidity, okay? And the one smart guy who is a smart guy and a success story for a Canadian company, Toby Lutke in Shopify, he says, you guys are crazy. You're crazy. We have great Canadian technology companies, or we have good startup opportunities, or why don't we develop successful Canadian technology companies? Probably the guy at Shopify could think of a few new startup things that he'd like to try. Give him $70 million. He stays in Canada. His headquarters is still in Canada. That's the key. Because his great point was, look, first of all, we overspend. This is wrong pricing to get good technological results. It just doesn't make sense. It's $200,000 a head. I mean, there's better ways of doing this. But most critically, the most critical thing, if there's new discoveries, new good IP, intellectual property, comes out of this, the beneficiary is in Finland. Like, that's nuts. Like, we should not do that. That is crazy as hell, okay? We should not be paying foreign companies to develop technology where they're going to own the IP. That is stupid. That's what Toby Lutke says. That's stupid. Like, let's develop head offices in Canada. The greatest failing in Canada for the last 25, 30 years is longer. We don't have head offices anymore. We don't have headquarters of companies of Canadians. Canadian headquarters with Canadian CEOs, Canadian executives who are developing something in Canada, building in Canada. This idea of just being that, Canada did skate by on sort of this branch stuff. Okay. So, hey, we got a Microsoft head office. It's really small. There's a president of the Canadian company, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. When I was a kid, when I was in my 20s, Canada built a ton of stuff. Like, there was like a Canadian firearms company. Like it was doing firearms and artillery shells and bullets and stuff. That's all gone. That's all disappeared. Oh, that's a good idea, Ron. We don't want that anymore. You may want it someday. Yeah, you might. You might. If the AI robots come, you might want some rifles, okay? Look, he's right. The CEO of Shopify is right. We want to put our money, if the government's going to put money on anything, put it on Canadians, for the love of God. Put it on Canadians developing new Canadian companies. Like, what's Nokia going to bring us? Sure, they're going to bring us some IP. They're going to bring us some of their own IP. That if it's improved on, that ownership of that IP goes back to Finland. Idiotic. Look, we got to stop this. We got to encourage Canadian companies to develop in Canada, operated by Canadians, and and make smaller bets and see what happens, because you're betting with Canadians' taxpayers' money on foreign companies to come to Canada. Could we please just stop that stupidity? Stop sending profits to Finland. That is idiotic.